Welcome to Shalom Training. My name is Anthony. Once a Christian told me, "It is so difficult to read the Bible. I don't know where to start. There are so many books in the Bible. Can someone help me?" Let me show you a simple way how you can read the Bible. Altogether, there are 66 books in the Bible. 39 books is in the Old Testament and 27 books in the New Testament. The Old Testament's books are written before Jesus Christ, while the New Testament books are written about Jesus and the churches. Since most of us are more familiar with the New Testament, let's start with the New Testament. There are 27 books in the New Testament. You may ask, who wrote them? Why are they written? Let's examine it one by one. Let's try to answer the question, who wrote them? It's basically written by the apostles Paul, Peter, John, and James. Question 2, why are they written? They are actually letters written to teach and encourage Christians to grow in the Lord. Now my Christian friend come back to me and said, how can I remember so many books? There are 27 of them, you know. Is there a simpler way to remember? Sure, let me try to help you and show you a simpler way. In Singapore, our HDB houses are divided into 1 room, 2 room, 3 room, 4 room, 5 room executive flat. So let me use one of these rooms to explain to you how you can remember the 27 books in the New Testament. Let's use the 4-room flat to explain. The first 4 books are called the Gospel: Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. All you want to learn about Jesus are found in these 4 Gospel books. The birth of Jesus, the miracle that Jesus did, Jesus' death, and Jesus rose again. All this can be found in these 4 books. These 4 books form the foundation of our Christian faith. Next, Acts. Acts is a long book. It's talking about the work of the apostle, how the church started and how the church grew. He also talk about what the apostle did and how they spread the good news. At one time, the Christians are persecuted, and during persecution, the disciples are scattered everywhere. Here, he also talk about Paul. Paul was being sent to teach the Gentiles, the non-Jew, while Peter and the rest are to concentrate on the Jew. The book of Acts form the concrete flooring of our 4-room flat. Now let's start with Paul. Paul is sent to the Gentiles or the non-Jew. Altogether, Paul made 3 missionary journeys to share the gospel. He also planted many churches. Paul sent out 9 letters to the churches, namely Romans, 1 Corinthians, 2 Corinthians, Galatians, Ephesians, Philippians, Colossians, 1 and 2 Thessalonians. In this letter, Paul encouraged and teach the Christians how they should conduct themselves. For example, in Corinthians, he shared with them how they should conduct themselves regarding about food offered to idols. In Galatians, he shared with them regarding about circumcision and observing the law. All in all, through this letter, Paul teach the Gentiles Christians how they should live their Christian life to glorify God. This forms our left column of our 4-room flat. Next, we look at Peter, John, and James. They are supposed to look after the Jewish Christian. During the persecution in Acts, many disciples scattered everywhere, and everywhere they go, they start forming churches, especially for the Jewish Christian. Peter, John, and James sent out 9 letters to these churches, namely Hebrew, James, 1 and 2 Peter, 1, 2, 3 John, Jude, and Revelation. The purpose of all these letters is to encourage and to teach the Jewish Christian how they should live their Christian life. And this forms the right column of our 4-room flat. Hey, my Christian friend said, there's still 4 more books in the New Testament. What are they for? Coming back to Paul, during his missionary journey, he established churches. And in some of those churches, he had put in pastors and leaders to look after them. These 4 letters are specifically sent to them. The purpose is to show the pastor how should their responsibility be. They should be husband of 1 wife, not drunkard, and so on. And also in this letter, he showed them how they should lead the flock under them, how they should care and look after them. Also, he also mentioned how the members should behave themselves in the church. So with these 4 letters, namely 1 Timothy, 2 Timothy, Titus, Philemon, it formed the roof of our 4-room flat. Congratulations, I told my Christian friend. Now you have a clear understanding of the New Testament. Although there are 27 books, but you can choose what you like to read. If you want to know more about Jesus, you can read Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. Or if you want to know about the church history and what does the apostle do, you can read Acts. If you want to know what does Paul write to the Gentiles Christian, you can refer to the left column, the 9 letters that Paul have written to the Gentiles. If you want to know what does Peter, John, and James write, you can refer to the right column, the 9 letters that Peter, James, and John wrote. Or, if you want to become a pastor or leaders of a church, and you like to know what is your responsibility and how to lead a flock, you can refer to 1 Timothy, 2 Timothy, Titus, or Philemon. I hope that you can enjoy your reading now. For exercise, let's start reading the Bible. I suggest you start reading the Gospel. Start with Matthew, then followed by Mark, and followed by Luke, and then John, and so on. All you need to do is just read 2 chapters per day. And I'm very sure by 1 year, you will finish the whole New Testament. Just give it a try. I'm sure you can make it.